So this is a quick cultural conversation with my boy Prince Angeles today, and I want to ask you the question: is it time to start gatekeeping black music again?
It's been time.
Okay, give me your thought.
And my thoughts on it is like we get a lot of. I want to be careful how I frame this. Um, People outside of the culture who us who are involved in the culture, we're very welcoming. You know what I mean? We
Yeah,
welcome everyone.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
just how we are. You know what I mean? Like we're very open and loving in that way. You know, but a lot of the people that we are welcoming too, you know, they come in, they utilize the culture, they take the sound, they take the feel, they start dressing like us,
mm-hmm.
they do all of these things. And then they start acting like they run the culture. It's
Yes,
like somebody coming up into your house and start rearranging your furniture.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is my crib. Like you
Where's
got
my
the
fridge?
audacity.
You know, if a nigga just walk right into your house and walk to your fridge, you like, hold on.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you are a guest here. This is not something that you own. You know what I mean? Like, I can't go into Hispanic culture or,
Yeah,
whatever, and start changing how they go about their culture. And I think it needs to be gatekept, in that way and we need to do background checks on these people. We need to be a lot more
yep,
not as open when
yeah.
it comes to accepting people because they come in, they monetize, and then they bounce and go back to what you know, they do. They come use us.
Well, and it's crazy because you know, at as you see, just a few examples. Like one of the biggest to me is like Kid Rock.
Oh my God.
One of the biggest glaring examples is like somebody like Kid Rock who, you know, acted like he was a hip hop head, and he might have even really been, but acted like he was a hip hop head. But then when he wants to be what I say is when he wants to go all the way white, he gets to just go all the way white and then shit on hip hop. You
Right.
know what I mean? I think Miley Cyrus did the same thing. Miley Cyrus did the Bangers album.
Um,
She's wearing the Jordans and the swimsuits, dressing like Beyonce. And then when she wanted to go back white, she's like shitting on hip hop. Like hip hop's so misogynistic. And like, you was just over here chilling with us. Like you was just over here getting hit records
Twerking.
with us.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
you know what, though? I don't mean to cut you off.
go
To
ahead.
me, it's kind of, in a way, it's disrespectful because you're cosplaying culture of what you think it is, you know what I mean? And then you step away from it and then now you're critical. Post Malone the same way. What's the Shabuzi guy?
Yeah.
Um, Talking about I don't make hip hop, but then he keeps putting out all these trap songs with the melody, you know what I mean, on top
Yeah.
of it. Like, come on, bro. Like what are we doing here?
Yeah, 'cause even if you think it ain't hip hop, it's the elements. Like y'all using our elements. Machine Gun Kelly. Like now he got painted nails and got a guitar and wearing sheer shirts. But you know what I'm saying? Like what? Like and I see it happen so often. Like I said, they come in, they want to be around us, they want to take our aura, they want to sit around, be a part of the vibe. But then they not when it's time to be like, oh, if they falling off as a hip hop artist, they're like, oh, I can go do some rock, I can go be white. Because I was like, when Post Malone become like the white beer drinking like rock dude, like doing Ozzy Osbourne at the awards, I was like,
Yeah,
dog,
yeah,
what is this? You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that's why I feel like we need to gatekeep because we don't get to do that as artists.
right.
We don't get to go cosplaying country and then be like, all right, now I'm finna rap.
You see how they treated Beyonce when
Yeah,
she made the country album and then she won all those awards and then it was like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
They made a big uproar about what they consider their culture,
Well, because they
even though
gatekeep
there's a
the hell out of
history
their
behind
culture. They gatekeep the hell out of their culture and the hell out of their music, even
it.
though it's our
Sure.
music, even though all of it's art,
Exactly.
like to be 100, even though all
Yeah.
of it's our music, like you can trace all of that back. You trace all that back to the banjo, which was made by a black man.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so even the one thing y'all think is y'all's, because y'all know rock and roll, that's us. Rock and roll is straight derivative of the blues. You know what I mean? We have the
Yep.
proof. It's not like we making this up. Like all of the biggest. music forms. Elvis Presley says freely he stole a bunch of shit from Little Richard, or he went to
Right.
black clubs and got inspired by, artists in the black clubs. So that's what, like, his music was like a white version of like Little Richard and the blues. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like all of this music is really ours, but it's like y'all gatekeep us out of what y'all consider y'all genres, even though they all belong to us. And we welcome everybody. We like, oh, Miley Cyrus want to do a hip hop album. Nobody was like, oh, she just did a pop album. They're like, oh, that shit banging. We did it.
And if we're not careful, bro, hip hop, R&B, and all of these things that we dabble in, like that's ours. Even though technically it all is ours, it's gonna look like what jazz looks like today, what rock and roll looks like today in 20, 30 years. Hip hop is
Yeah,
gonna look like we never was a part of it.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? Everything. It's like back when we were growing up, we decided what was cool,
yeah,
and then the corporate heads had to follow that. Now it's like the corporate heads are deciding what's cool, and then it's like whether you just accept it or not. And that's only because we've allowed our culture to be infiltrated.
yeah,
You know what I mean? To a point to where we no longer control it no more. And that's what I've seen with like the greatest example of that is Kendrick and Drake,
yeah,
and how that whole battle, and how that, to me, that was a battle of two worlds.
yeah,
There was one side, Kendrick representing the culture and trying to protect what we grew up on, and then there was the other side of the guy that's just trying to, that monetized, that capitalized off of it, that
yeah,
wasn't really from what
yeah,
we grew up on, you know, and then also trying to say what hip hop is.
yes,
When you came in wanting to be accepted, you know what I'm saying? That is exactly what's going on right now. You know,
yeah,
and I see it online, social media all the time when I see like the arguments between people who are trying to protect culture and the people who's just like, you know what I mean? It's literally two different worlds, bro. And they're the ones trying to tell us what we should sound like
yeah,
and how it should go. When that's not how it was when it started.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, man. So yeah, like I said, I agree with you. We're gonna have to start gatekeeping our culture much, much better. We're gonna have to start. I think we have to start taking our culture more seriously, and that's like not us. I think the younger artists. You know what I mean? Because like much as people be talking shit about the old heads is keeping the actual culture alive. You know what I mean? Like you look at some of the best albums that have been put out, the best hip hop album put out have been the older cats, coming
Yeah.
back doing new music. Like when I heard the new Ti record, I was like, damn. Like
Fire. He
like
always sounds the same, bro. Like from day one. Like,
I said, this new Ti sounds like old Ti, but it's relevant today. And then you had the Clips album, you know what I mean? Like then the Slick Rick new album was crazy. Nas putting out crazy music. Like so it's like the old heads is putting out the most culturally relevant in Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? Putting out the most culturally relevant like music in regards to the overall culture. And
yeah,
and I think that's the thing that I think somebody younger is gonna have to like take up that mantle of like protecting the culture and making music that's culturally relevant. Like because like I remember hearing the Clips album and GNX, and I was like, these are hip hop albums, right? Like no filler, no, it didn't feel like no saccharin was in it, that fake stuff. You know what I mean? Like I like this was like people,
Austin.
yeah, people making some good records, and we got to get back to that. But like I said, it can't just be the old heads though. Like the new, some of these new artists got to come up and make music that is a staple. Make music that makes a shift in the culture, and I think that's what we kind of missing out. I haven't seen nobody besides Kendrick who was really making like a shift, like a seismic shift in the culture. Because like every 5 years, we would have like a solo male rap artist come out make a crazy ass record, and it hasn't been like that, like not consistently. But since we grew up, like you can go all the way back to like a Tupac album, Ice Cube album, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
Scarface out. Like there was a seismic like shift every 5 years with like a solo black uh hip hop artists that put out an album that just like, oh, this changes everything. This album changes everything. Because like, a lot of people don't remember, we was there. We was lucky. I think we kind of lived through the best time in music, bro, because we got to live through the Michael Jackson era, the Prince era, the early De La Soul era. You know what I mean? Like we kind of lived the BBD era. Like we kind of got like the best the best of
The
all.
non-gentrified era.
Yeah, yeah. We got like the best of all of it. Um, but I said that to say like, when we go back and look at how lucky we were to be alive when like All Eyes on Me came out, because I remember that moment. I'll never
Yeah,
forget what that like when you talk about everybody driving by your house and you hearing a different Tupac song in every car. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Different Tupac song on every radio station. Like, it was like it was going crazy. And I'm like, I remember that. And I don't think people's albums have been events like that. I think the Clips found a way to do it because I think the Clips had an amazing rollout. They did a rollout like an old school hip hop album rollout, and that's why it worked. So I think the
Yeah,
Clips did a great job with their rollout, and I think Tyler Creator did a good job with his rollouts of Chromacopia and the last album, the one that he just put out. I think he had like really good rollout, and I think
don't have the glass or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and I was like they created cultural moments, but I just feel like we don't have enough of those cultural moments. There's very few far in between, because I was tripping because I'm like I was going through listening to some songs that were hits that's not like classics, but they were hits back then. But it was like a plethora. Like you talking about, remember when you go through 106 and Park, you're gonna get a Bone Crusher single, you're gonna get a Ludacris song. So you're getting stuff from everywhere. You're gonna get a Jay-Z record, you're gonna get a Dog Pound. It was just like, again, we lived through like a great time in music. And I'm hoping, I mean, I don't think it'll ever get back to that, but I'm hoping the feel of nostalgia, because you're starting to see young cats come out kind of trying to repeat that feel. And my
yeah.
last question before we get out of here, in regards to the gatekeeping, the posers, why do you think Eminem is able to be set apart from all of them? Because he's been around it the whole time, and he's had some of the biggest pop records ever, even though they were still hip hop records. But I don't think he ever, you ever felt like he had those Machine Gun Kelly vibes.
I think because he he grew up with us. You know what I mean? The culture. People think the culture is solely a race thing. You know what I mean? You grow up in the hood. You grow up places where hip hop resides. There's Hispanics there that live next door to you. There may be the white guy that lives next door to you. There may be the whatever. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I think the difference is that these people shared those same experiences that we have with us. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So they understand the culture and they have a certain level of respect for it, and they don't try to overstep. They add to the culture and they leave it as is. And I think that's what Eminem has always represented. Everybody know that crazy white boy growing up. You know what I mean? Like you could see Eminem and be like, "Dang, I knew somebody just like him when I was on the block."
like I said,
You
every
know what
hood
I
had a
mean?
white mic. That
Everyone. You know
every
what I'm
hood
saying?
had a white mic.
Everyone. And the respect and the understanding of the culture, I think, is what sets it apart. It's not like with Eminem, you can see a genuine love for it. It's not I'm trying to monetize, I'm trying to make some money off of this, I'm trying to cosplay. That's just who he is. He's just white. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And we know when it's authentic. We can see it and we can feel it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. That was a good roundup. Good conversation, man. Thank you for joining me. It's always a good time. I always love when me and you hop on,
Sure.
and have these conversations, man. So I thank you. Everybody, go get Prince Angeles. Just look him up and go listen to all his records. Listen to his catalog. He's a really dope artist. Got something to say. He's representing the West in a great way right now. So shout out to him for that. Again, thank you for coming, man. We'll see you next time, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me, bro.
All right, bro. Until next time.
Sir.